Keystone Cops.
What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. This one is on the mini CQC8, aka the Horseman. This is a model that I've never owned before and a variant of a model that hasn't existed before. So I figured I would go ahead and shoot a quick video, talk to you guys about it a little bit. I'm not going to go into any history or into any information about the variants or anything like that. I am going to suggest that if you're interested in that kind of a thing, you go and you check out a guy's both Instagram and YouTube channel. The gentleman goes by the screen name Caliper, K-A-L-0-P-R. I think it's PR, not P-E-R, PR. Anyway, I'll link it down below. This knife came out around Mother's Day. I had been wanting to try out an 8, and I figured, you know, what better way to try out an 8 than a limited run with some add-ons that, you know, you can't just get anywhere else. So later I found out there were about 4 or 5 of these made. Didn't really buy it because it was going to be super limited. I just knew that it was going to be purple and black. I thought that was kind of cool, so I wanted to check it out. I have to tell you guys, customer service. Let me back up for a second. I had to rush because when I went over to the website, I saw that there was only one of these knives left, maybe two, one or two, and I just had to push the order through. I didn't even get a chance to log into my account. And I ended up later sending an email, but the email said to call in if you have any inquiries about your order. So I called and I spoke to a guy by the name of Ernesto. And no, I'm not being funny or anything like that. The guy's name honestly was Ernesto. He also was the guy that later emailed me, but he not only allowed me to add the knife purchase to my account so I can go back. I like to keep a record of things so I can see kind of when I bought a knife, exactly what it cost, that kind of thing. He also was nice enough to add on the titanium hardware option for me after the fact. This was on Friday, on a Friday. It was probably like 5 minutes before 5, so they should have literally been closing. This guy not only patiently answered the phone, patiently answered all my questions, he hand wrote a note, slipped it under the door of the person who fills orders because she had already left for the day, and then he assured me he would follow up with me, which he did, not only by phone call but also in email. So I couldn't be happier about the customer service. That made me feel even better about my purchase. Then the knife showed up, and man, I don't know why I've never owned an 8 before. And I'm going to talk generally about the 8. This is just such an ergonomic knife, and this blade shape is just so utilitarian. It's got it's slightly a little bit of belly, but it's pretty much flat. And then you've got a broad sweeping belly here that just really just works for those slicing type cuts that I make all the time when I'm carrying a knife. Even though I have bigger hands, my hand is 4.5 inches from one side of my palm to the other, I still can get a full 4-finger grip on there. Now, it is a little more cramped than I would like. I kind of have to place my hand on here a little more than I would like. So I am, truth be told, I have already picked up a full-sized 8 that's going to be coming in the mail tomorrow. Let's see what else I can tell you guys about the knife. Let's talk about the fit and finish, because I know these things are hot trash on a summer's day. I don't know why anybody would come within 10 feet of an Emerson knife. That sarcasm, if you guys didn't catch it. Anyway, you can see the centering of the blade. It's a little bit hard because of the dark colors, but you can see it's centered as far as I can tell. There we go. That's even better. It's centered as far as I can tell. The scales, usually the material over the liners usually is a little bit proud. That's another area where people are like, oh yeah, but it's proud. That's not the case here. You can see it is pretty much flush with the liners. That is drilled and tapped for left and right hand carry. That's not a standard option. This clip also is not a standard option. It came with this just by default. This is the purple titanium hardware that they added on. This was an additional cost, but I figured, you know, if I'm going to go for it, I might as well go for it. It is very well done. This is the lockup. It is fairly early. It's also hard to see a little bit, but it was earlier than that when I first got the knife. The blade, you can see the finish. In the past, I've gotten new Emersons, especially with this black coating, which I'm not a big fan of, and along the spine and everything, it would be kind of chipped off. That's not the case. It's very even. You can see this is a V-ground blade, primary grinds, but it does have just a stropped edge on this side, and it does have a secondary bevel on this side. It's very sharp out of the box. Don't have any complaints there. One thing back to this hardware option, it's kind of interesting because I was talking with somebody about the market, and you know, we always hear big three, Hinderer, CRK, and Strider. But one company that doesn't get mentioned that has been around as long and has equally as rich of a history as any of those companies is Emerson. And one of the things we were talking about was it would be interesting if they brought some more options to the table, meaning not just black G10 and just their standard model, just the standard options on their models. They have plenty of models. And here recently, what I've noticed is not only have they started offering titanium hardware like these standoffs and pivots and the thumb buttons, as Emerson calls them, but they have also started offering the color scales as a standard option, which I tend to prefer because, and that's another reason why I went with this knife, because that G10, just their standard black G10, is a little rough for my liking. Yes, it does wear down. It still will tear up your pockets. So I don't love that about Emerson's, but I find that the colored scales, not this, but the color scale options, the jungle commanders and things of that nature that they've done in the past, or the desert tan scales, they don't tend to be as rough of a material. This is actually pretty smooth, but they have started to offer those as what seems, the colored scales is what seems to be a standard option. So that's pretty cool and something that I think will appeal to more people. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the 8, kind of give you guys a look over or once around the knife and kind of check it out. The action is also smooth. I forgot to mention that. And it does have a little bit of lock stick, but you know, nothing major. That's really it. Oh, this lanyard bead here. I'm not really a lanyard guy, but I figured if I was going to go with a purple knife, I might as well go all the way. This is an AR bolt made by Pete Gray of Gray Precision. Awesome guy. Just makes awesome products, so I would check him out as well. I'll leave a link to him down below also. But anyway, I've rambled on enough towards the end of this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember, a lazy man carries a dull knife, and don't be a dumb person with a smartphone.